So this is an update on the yard. This is May 2nd week of 2022. Some of the trees are in the ground for years, some of them are over 5-6 years. So I thought might be a good time to update how the new as well as the older trees are doing. So we'll start with south side of the yard. This is the Peter's honey fig, which was planted a year ago, and this year it has started to produce some small fruits, and as you notice they're growing on this new growth, which will be the summer fig. The next one, which is recently planted 4-5 months ago, is Celeste and Violet Dibardo or VDB fig. Both of them are doing really well. They're holding on to the new planting really good, and the Celeste especially even has some fruits on it, especially given the fact that it's first year. That's pretty good, I would say. And they're under the shade of this mesquite tree, so they're getting afternoon sun only and some filtered sun in the morning. The next one is this brown turkey fig, which was planted 4 months ago, and that has started to grow some new leaves and it's doing really well. And then on the east side, the southeast side, I had planted these 2 Beirut trees, and these were the Katie and the gold kissed apricot trees, 2 in a hole, and I had pruned them right about this height, and now you can see in 3-4 months since planting they have a lot of new growth, and they are doing really well and taking up our Arizona sun. But since they are in the southeast side under the shade of this mesquite tree, they get filtered sun throughout the day, so I think that's helping them. And then this one is the Burgundy Plum, which was planted almost a year and a half ago now, and this winter I had pruned it to reduce the height as well as to control the growth. So it fruited, but I took the fruits out, and then now it's in its 2nd year of growth and growing really well. So Burgundy Plum does do well. The fruiting, I would wait for another year before the tree matures and grows stronger. In my experience, if you wait for a tree to fruit, that's better than letting it fruit younger. On this side, very next to the fig, very next to the Peter's honey fig, I had this Barbados cherry plant, which was planted about 5.5 years ago, and now it has grown into this 5 feet tall, 5 feet wide round bush, which produces hundreds of fruits every year, especially in the spring and summer. And as you can see, these small berries or cherries, the Barbados cherries, they ripen really well in full sun, and it does need full sun to fruit and to grow well. So Barbados cherry is one of the best bushy plants you can grow that actually produces tons of fruits here in Arizona, and these would become dark burgundy color in another 2 weeks or so, and that's when you would harvest them. So Barbados cherry is one of the best producing fruit trees here in Arizona. Here I have this non-fruit tree. It's a neem tree and it's done really well. I had chopped it off to this height, and now it has started to grow now that the temperatures are going into 90s and 100. On this side I have this newly planted fig, planted 4 months ago. This is the Conadria Fig, and you can see the fig video of the first fig that we harvested from this. The interesting thing about this fig tree is it does grow big fruit, and even in the first year it already produced one fig from the Breba crop, and then there are two others that have just emerged in the last 2-3 weeks or so, and they are on the newer growth. So that's the summer fig. So Conadria Fig is one of the best fig varieties that apparently is doing extremely well in full blazing sun and seems to produce really well at young age. On this side I have a patch of Moringa tree, and then behind it I have this small Bonanza Peach, the dwarf Bonanza, and it did produce flowers and fruits, but the fruits dropped this year, and so did last year. I think in the last 2 winters it probably is not getting enough chill hours, or the warmer days are kind of negating the chill hours. But since Bonanza Peach will do really well in our weather, I kept it and it's growing well. So we'll see how it produces in the next 2-3 years. But when it produces, it did have very big peaches and they were really juicy. But Bonanza Peach should do really well here. The next tree is this fig tree, which is Tiger Panache, and this was planted 3-4 months ago along with this second one behind this pigeon pea bush, and this particular one is Chicago Hardy. Both of these are growing well for the first 6 months, and now that the summer is coming up, I will see how they hold on to our peak heat days and 120 days. But given the fact that it's fig, it should do really well in full sun. And then this tree is one of the most exotic plants that we are growing. This is Tamarind Tree, and if you see, the tree has produced lots of flowers in last 2 weeks. So this is the second week of May. So since mid-April it's starting to flower, and then it's still holding on to the fruit or the tamarinds which were produced last year, and I'm letting it grow to full size to see if they can grow to the full size, and the fruit will get little bit sweeter as it matures. So seems like you can grow tamarind very easily as long as it's in full sun. And I have pruned this tree twice in the last 2 years to maintain the height at about 5 to 6 feet. So it has bushed out nicely and it's producing lots of flowers and lots of fruits, and it's really pretty tree, and it closes its leaves as the temperature warms up or if it goes too cold. And then if you notice, the inner leaves stay open, so the tree is very self-sufficient in protecting itself from winter and from summer heat. This next one is the Moringa Bush, is the hedge that works really well and produces lots of flowers and pods, and is a great attractor for bees and pollinators. This next tree behind Moringa is Amla tree. So that's the Indian gooseberry, and as you can see, this started in the prior video from a 6-inch plant, has grown all the way up to 15 feet now, and I'm going to prune it mid-summer to maintain its height. And I've been pruning it every so often to branch out more and more. So it does hold our sun, and it needs our Arizona sun to grow. It hasn't produced yet since it's in the ground in, I think, in its 3rd or 4th year. It will need few more years to produce fruits if it does, but otherwise it's a beautiful tree in itself, is the Amla tree. And then there is this dwarf peach behind it, this is honeybee peach, and it does flower every year but has not fruited. It grows to a certain size and then the fruits drop off. I think they need much more chill hours, but since it's in a contained space, I'm letting it grow on its own. And then this is how the fruits of the parts of the newly emerging moringa pots look like. And then this bush here is a flowering bush. It is Duke of Tuscany jasmine, and it produces extremely fragrant flowers and does really well in our sun, and is growing all around in a patch behind this moringa bush, getting morning sun through the day and then afternoon sun in the filtered way. And then the amla tree is right behind it, so it has created a great microclimate around it. And then this last tree on the south side is Parfianca Pomegranate, which was planted a year and a half ago, and it has done really well so far, grown really well to about 4.5 feet, and it did flower first time this year, which is its second year. But you want to let the tree grow in the first 2-3 years, and what I have noticed based on other pomegranate trees I have in the back is that after only 4th or 5th year is when the fruits are more flavorful and they're full size and more matured. So in the first 3 to 4 years, even if pomegranates flower and produce any fruit, they won't be of great quality. So just give it time. But as long as it's in the full sun, you don't need to do much beyond watering, and just plant it in native soil. So Parfianca pomegranate is supposed to be one of the best varieties. We'll see how it produces in the next 2-3 years.